A flash rips through the night sky above Belgorod. In an instant, silence turns to chaos. Ukrainian drones pierce Russian airspace and descend on a vital oil refinery. No warning, no alarm, just a blinding explosion that paints the horizon in fire. Fuel lines rupture, shockwaves echo across the border, and in that fiery moment, the front lines of modern warfare shift from trenches to technology. But this was no random strike. It was calculated, stealthy, and the world was about to see why. It's 2:03 a.m. in western Russia. Radar operators sit in dim-lit rooms, staring at screens that show nothing, just a clean sweep of silence. But that silence is a lie. Two Ukrainian UJ-22 drones, flying barely 60 feet above the treetops, cut through the night at 140 kilometers per hour. They use the rolling landscape as cover, slipping beneath radar arcs, their engines whispering against the wind. Over the Belgorod refinery, floodlights hum, oblivious. Guards smoke cigarettes near the perimeter fence, unaware that mechanical wings are already closing in. Thermal cameras blink, catching faint heat traces too small to trigger alarms. The system flags them as birds. False positives. 5 seconds later, the first drone banks right, stabilizes, and arms its high-explosive fragmentation warhead. The second follows, perfectly synchronized, diving toward the refinery's northern storage yard. From control stations hundreds of kilometers away, Ukrainian operators watch the telemetry flicker green to red, the signal that impact is imminent. Then, silence again, a still moment before ignition. What happens when stealth turns to fire? At 2:05 a.m., the first drone meets steel. The explosion is instant. Diesel tanks rupture, sending a rolling pressure wave across the Belgorod refinery. Metal twists, pipes groan, a bloom of orange engulfs the night sky as the shockwave rattles windows kilometers away. Seconds later, the second UJ-22 slams into the main pipeline junction, splitting it like paper. Flames leap 50 meters high, turning the facility into a wall of fire visible from the border. Thermal sensors overload, control rooms go black. Inside, operators scramble, monitors melt, alarms die mid-tone. Emergency frequencies light up with overlapping chaos. Containment breach, North Sector. Unknown explosions, possible UAV strike. No visuals, power grid down. Fire crews from local EMERC units rush toward the inferno, but the heat pushes them back. Diesel spills form rivers of fire, cutting off access roads. On the refinery's perimeter, security forces stare helplessly as the radios hiss with static. This was no small sabotage. It was a calculated hit. 2 precision detonations that crippled a core energy hub in minutes. And as the blaze spread, command realized they weren't fighting a fire. They were fighting time. Can they contain the blaze before it spreads to the main reservoir?
Moments after the second detonation, the entire Belgorod surveillance grid collapses. Cameras flicker once, then die. Radar screens fade to static. Inside the Air Defense Command Post, operators shout over the sudden silence of lost data streams. Every feed, gone. No eyes, no confirmation, no control. The refinery's internal network, wired through outdated relays, is fried by electromagnetic interference. Unseen above, the UJ-22 drones leave behind a final sting, electronic countermeasure payloads broadcasting noise across a 10-kilometer radius. The result? Complete blackout. For 6 critical minutes, Russian early warning systems are blind. In those same 6 minutes, operators in Kyiv's control center monitor the chaos from hundreds of kilometers away. Their screens glow with live telemetry, temperature spikes, flame expansion, and collapsing structural data. They don't see soldiers, they see readings, movement, geometry. Modern warfare reduced to signals and silence. Back in Belgorod, the P-18 radar array tries to reboot. It doesn't. The Buk M2 crews wait for target confirmation, but there's nothing to lock on. Through the thick smoke, one thing is clear. Precision isn't always about hitting the target. It's about blinding the enemy after you do. Could another wave already be inbound under the same blackout? At 2:18 a.m., the first countermeasure orders hit the air. The 988th Air Defense Regiment in Belgorod scrambles its Buk M2 launchers, locking onto faint radar ghosts flickering through static. Possible incoming, bearing 317, a voice shouts. But the signal isn't a drone. It's the echo of their own interference. Still, two 9M317 surface-to-air missiles scream into the darkness at Mach 3.5. They arc high, vanish into the cloud layer, and detonate over open farmland. No targets, no wreckage, just the sound of distant thunder rolling over the Kursk corridor. Russian towns nearby are jolted awake by the shock waves. Emergency lines flood with reports. New attack! But there isn't one. Inside command centers, officers argue over telemetry, unsure which radar returns are real. Finally, higher command issues a drastic measure. Shut down all local air corridors to prevent civilian casualties. For nearly 20 minutes, the region's skies are sealed. No flights, no response, just radio silence and smoke. Across the border, Ukrainian intelligence listens in. Every intercepted transmission confirms the same thing. The strike missed everything. No drones lost, no damage taken. The operation is still running clean. When the fog of war blinds both sides, who gains the advantage? By dawn, the smoke still rises over Belgorod. The once bustling refinery now glows with embers. Steel frames sagging, storage tanks caved in like crushed cans. Satellite imagery at 6 a.m. confirms the destruction. 3 tanks obliterated, 1 major pipeline crippled, and kilometers of scorched ground radiating heat. Russian state media releases a statement, several drones neutralized before impact. But civilian footage tells another story. Twin fireballs lighting the sky, no intercepts, no sirens, only chaos. The lie doesn't hold for long. Firefighting units battle the inferno for 8 straight hours, their vehicles soaked in black smoke and diesel spray. By midday, containment is declared, though the air still smells of burnt fuel. Trains reroute, local power dips, the refinery's output halted. Across the border, analysts piece together the strike. Each UJ-22 covered roughly 800 kilometers, crossing multiple radar nets without detection. Each hit a separate pressure node, crippling flow efficiency by design, not chance. This wasn't symbolic, it was strategic. And as the data rolls in, defense planners recognize a new reality. Ukraine's reach just got longer, its precision sharper, and its message unmistakable. Was this strike just a message or a rehearsal for something bigger? Each new strike marks an evolution, where silence, code, and precision replace armies and flags. This wasn't just a battle over oil. It was a live demonstration of how information warfare, electronic control, and unmanned power are rewriting the rules of combat. Every explosion carries a digital echo, every silence a warning. And in this new theater of war, drones fight while satellites watch, and the world takes notes. If you found this breakdown gripping, subscribe for more high-intensity military stories that decode the battles shaping tomorrow's warfare. Speed, precision, strategy, modern conflict in real time.